Hello everyone, this is Fernando Briones and this is a video tutorial addressed to my secondary school students. If you are not one of my students, I'm sorry in advance for all the inside jokes or inside comments that you're going to hear. Well, this video is about doing three-dimensional nets which afterwards, once folded, is going to allow us to achieve three-dimensional topics or items. Well, in this case I'm going to go through an entire process, starting with several sketches, and first of all I need to decide what item, what topic am I going to design. Well, I think I'm going to start with what is called a cute style dinosaur, since everybody likes such a thing. And so in this case what I'm going to start with is a two-dimensional side view of my dinosaur. As you can see, I'm using this software which is free to use. This is called My Paint. You can use it with your tablets. In this case I'm using the mouse in order to draw this straight lines properly and easily. So as you can see, this is going to be basically the body of my dinosaur. Now I'm going to add some details so you can understand what this monster, dinosaur, whatever is about. That's going to be the head, of course. That's going to be the mouth. Okay, such good. Now I'm going to add the lens here, the pupil of the eye, such a thing like this. Okay, so one of the conditions to fulfill in the exercise that I'm going through with my secondary students is that this object, which is going to be at the end of the process a three-dimensional folded object, in this case dinosaur, needs to include three basic solids. In this case we are talking about a pyramid. It needs to contain a pyramid and also needs to contain a ramp, something like this, very simple done. And of course it has to also contain something like this, which is a simple normal standard prism, such like this. So these three elements need to be somehow contained in the object that I'm trying to design. So in this case we already have the prism clearly, and also the ramps. Here we have two of them. As a body is good enough, but it's clearly not completed. So I will add here a pyramid. For the tail, it's going to be a short tail, so this way it's going, in my opinion at least, it's going to be more cute than by using a longer tail. And what I'm going to also add, and these are going to be individual independent objects, I'm going to add some big lateral included legs. Okay, something like this. Okay, can you imagine this? I'm going to color it a little bit so you have a general view of what I mean. Oh, that was too much since I haven't closed the shape here. Okay, now it's going to be good enough. There you go. Oh, that wasn't the idea. Here and there. So that's the general purpose. Okay, now in order to continue on, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to try at least to draw a three-dimensional sketch of the body, which is going to allow me to do a study of all the faces included in that body. So I'm going to start then with some axonometrical perspective like this. That's going to be the top of the head of my tyrannosaur. well, if you can call it a tyrannosaur, I don't know. Well, I think it's close enough to a tyrannosaur in order to deserve that name, isn't it? So that's going to be the ground of the body. Let us close the lines if possible in order to fill them afterwards easily with the bucket, which is of course this tool here. And if I'm able to close properly these lines, then I will be able to fill the gaps, the areas very, very easily. So that's nice. Here we go. And color them easy enough like this. Nice. So what I'm going to do next is that I'm going to name all the surfaces, all the faces. I'm going to name them, so it's going to be easier for me to unfold them into a two-dimensional flat surface. So this whole lateral side is going to be called 1. Here we have the front of the head, which is going to be called, for instance, 2. The top of the head, number 3. All the back here, that's going to be number 4. Then we have the tail, which is not still there, but you know, the surface where I'm going to attach the tail. So that's going to be 5. The ground, which I'm going to call 6. This part of the chest, which is going to be called 7, and then the chin, which is of course hidden since we don't see it, and that's going to be called 8. We still have to call the other side, the other lateral side, which is going to be called, of course, 9. Such a thing like this. So this is going to allow me now. Let's move this a little bit aside. This is going to allow me to start drawing the two-dimensional net. So I'm going to start with the ground, which is basically a rectangle such as this. As you can see, that's going to be the rectangle, okay, according to the ground to 6. Now what I'm going to do is try to unfold the lateral side, which is number 1. I'm going to do it like this here. That's going to be the part of the chest. These are going to be the lines according to the head of the tyrannosaur. That's going to be the back, and I'm going to finally finish with the bottom, with the butt of my tyrannosaur, where I'm going to afterwards attach the how would I call it, the tail. Okay, so of course everything I do here on the right side needs to be reflected, needs to be mirrored here on the left side. I could do it manually, but it turns out I have this wonderful tool, which is going to allow me to draw everything that I do here on the right side. It's going to be mirrored here at the left side. So here we go. That's going to be quite easier, and of course it's going to allow me to make you understand much easier what I mean. Nice. So I can get rid now of that one here, because I'm now continuing unfolding, for instance, number 7. Here, number 7 is part of the chest, and what is important to us is to understand that this is the edge, okay, this one here, that's the edge that needs to be as long as number 7, okay? So, and that can be done by the use, as you have if you have seen me doing it in class so many times, by the use of the compass. Okay, so you would take that distance with the compass and you would take it there. Okay, so I'm going to still finish number 7 like this, and I'm going to show you the correspondence between these both edges, which are here and also there. So here we have them. these and that one are all both should come together, and therefore these both edges should be exactly the same size. Now we go on. Let me write it for you nevertheless. This is 7. Okay. This one here, let's draw it with a freehand tool. That's going to be 6. That's going to be 1. And of course that's 9. That is the same we've got here, but mirrored. Okay. Now let's continue on with the ruler, which is this one. And this rectangle here, these both edges, this one needs to be exactly the same size as this one. As you can see, I'm not doing it as accurate and as precise as it should, because what I'm very interested now is that you understand exactly the correspondence between the faces, and what's even more important, the distribution of those faces. So now let's continue on with the frontal face of the head. Okay, that's it, which is going to be number 2, and this is going to stick with this one here. And of course now comes number 3. Let's get a ruler-like tool like that. That's going to be number 3, which is according to that one. So on the bottom part, on the rear part, I'm going to add here number 5, which of course needs to be exactly the same size as which one? As the one that is adjacent and which is sharing this corner, this vertex with this other side. Okay, and finally I'm going to add the number 4, which is this one here, which is going to be the back, as easy as such. That's it. And number 4 needs to be exactly the same as this edge. Okay, that edge here needs to be the same as that edge. Makes sense. Okay, you see all the correspondence to each other. That would be the body. Okay, so that means here we would have the mouth, both mouths here, and here we would have the eye of the head, and of course here that would be the front part of the mouth. So all those things that I've done here, so not accurately, that's it's not inaccurate, so to say. This is going to allow us to understand how to go from this part, from this phase, this step of the process, into the three-dimensional unfolding the net of my dinosaur. So what is still missing, what's still left to do is of course the leg. Okay, the legs are going to be attached sideways here on the body, and I'm going to do very quickly the same process that I've done with the body. I'm going to do it here with those legs. So here we would have the upper part of the leg, so to say the thigh of the leg. Then we have the whole foot or claw of the leg. That's it. That's supposed to be straight enough. Well, you get the idea. That's the rest of the foot, okay, or the claw. And now I'm going to do exactly the same thing I've done before, which is first labeling, numbering each and every one of those faces. That's going to be number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. The one here on the back, it's going number 5. Here we have number 6, 7, the same as 6 but mirrored, and then finally we have the ground, which is number 8. So let's get started by unfolding all those faces quick enough. I'm going to start as usual with the ground. That's going to be number 8. And then we have, let me go back here. This is going to be number 6. As you can see, the foot followed by the ankle and the thigh. That would be number 6. Okay, I'm not going to mirror anything. I'm just going to try to get this close enough, similar enough to number 6, like this. That's not going to be number 7. And then we have number 1, which of course those both 6 and 1, they are sharing this edge. That means we need to draw this edge exactly the same size as that other edge. So far so good. Okay, that's number 1, followed by number 2. Here we have it. Let's close it. That's not that easy to do. Number 2, since these both come together, number 2 joins with these both. Okay, that one with that one, that one with that one. So let's continue on. Move this a little bit, and that would be here number 3. Okay, number 3 needs to be joined with this one here and with that one. And of course I could continue on here with 4, but instead of adding all those faces here on this side of the drawing, I'm going to continue on the rear, the back, and that would be, you guessed already, that's number 5. 5 here with that one, and let's finish with 4. That's number 4, and this one is of course accordance to this edge here. Okay, so that would be the whole study. Okay, now that I'm absolutely aware and sure where all those faces needs to be placed, now it's the time that I start converting all those faces into a proper geometrical drawing using a squared paper and of course a ruler and compass, which I'm going to do in the next video. See you soon. See you there. So here I am again, and we are going to continue on just by drawing the same picture I've done before, but in this case we are going to get all these pictures here drawn in a geometrical fashion. What does it mean? I will be able to first start with the two-dimensional net of the body of my dinosaur. So I'm going to start by using the ground of my dinosaur, which is this one here. Quick enough. I need to first of all make sure I draw with straight lines like these. Okay, now I'm going to draw the line of the chest, followed by the line of the head, like this, and finally I finished here. The use of a squared paper, as you can see, is extremely helpful because it allows me to draw even quicker than I did when I was using my paint as a free tool. Now, the idea is drawing the next phase, which is going to be, well, would be number 7, so to say, here, that one. But in order to do that, I need to use the compass. compass. Here it comes, the compass. And ouch, that wasn't the idea. Where is my compass? Here it is. So I start here and taking the radius there. So that's going to be the whole side, and I do it also here. There we go. And we continue on, drawing straight line after straight line. Okay, let me try to get this properly done. So these both come together, and these both come together. That means I'm going to directly add some ribbons. Remember, you need a ribbon for every pair of edges that are going to come together. Now, I could of course continue on counting some squares, but the problem is that these vertices here are not lined up with the vertices of my squared paper anymore, so I will need to continue on transporting the distances with the compass. I'm going to take this a little bit aside. So that's going to be next one here and there. Okay. As you can see, you will need to be patient enough doing this thing. Okay. That's it. Okay, so that one is going to be joined with this one. So again, a couple of ribbons like this. Good enough. Okay, that ribbon wasn't good. That's it. Now we come to that part here of the face, which is going to be, so to say, the mouth. And again, since the radius is remaining 2 squares, I do not even have to go back to take that radius again, because it's the same that I've used before, that is 2 squares. So I continue on drawing these edges, these lines. That's it. Let's finish it. That one here. So that would be, so to say, as far as I can remember, number 2. Now we go to the top of the head. The top of the head is 3 squares long. That means I will have to, oh, that's not the idea. I will have to take that distance, and it's going to be, that's going to be close enough to the bottom of the paper. I just only hope that I will have space enough here. I really hope so. Otherwise, I'm going to get into trouble in order to show you the finished product, so to say. So that's basically that one here. I forgot about the ribbons here and there. So another ribbon here. I cannot be mistaken if I add ribbons here, since for each and every one of those edges we are going to find its pair here on those lateral side sections, so to say. Now I'm going to continue on with the rear part. Again, let's add some tops and ribbons as usual. And now comes the defining moment in which I'm going to realize if I had space enough to finish this properly. Now drums are sounding. Oh, that was extremely short, but nevertheless, as you can see, we had space enough to finish this properly, which is a very, very good news. So that's going to be the body. Very nice. So what comes next is, okay, of course, you figured out, as I am doing now, I still have to add those ribbons also here. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to color it with a proper T-Rex green, such as this, and I'm going to add some eyes. I'm going to draw an eye here. Is it drawing? No, because I'm not drawing with the proper color, which should be white, something like this. And I'm going to try to do the same thing here. Nice. And a proper mouth also here and there. And of course, that is according to that. That's the chin. So that means, oh, too many colors here. I don't want it now here. So that means I will try to get the mouth properly drawn here. Okay. So far so good. Let's draw those both eyes like this and like that. And even some islands here and there. Okay. I suppose it's good enough for educational purposes. So, what I'm going to do now is, first of all, I'm going to save this here, and afterwards I will be able to do the whole cutting and pasting with this one here. Now comes the moment in which I'm going to also add the legs. Okay, so I'm going to start over, and now comes the moment in which I'm going to do that same thing, but with the legs. Okay, so I'm going to use directly this tool, which allows me to draw rectangular faces, and that's going to get me quicker. So that would be the upper part. No, I don't want to start with the upper part. I want to start with precisely the opposite. That's the ground. Okay, and now I'm going to draw the side views of the legs that I want to add. That's going to be the claw, some toes, and that's going to be the thigh of my T-Rex leg. So that's going to be 5 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. And let's do exactly the mirrored section of the lateral face of my leg. Now, nice. That's going to be. Let's get to this other tool, which is going to allow me to be a little bit quicker. So these both, as usual, they need to come together. I do not need to use the compass here anymore, since as you can see, all the lines that I'm using are basically straight lines, which is, of course, an advantage, and it's going to allow me to be so much quicker. Now I realize I need to fill again with this T-Rex dinosaur color again. Maybe I want to add some little tiny claws, such as these. Okay, like that. Something like this. And, well, also side views. Okay, such a thing like this. So, again, let's save it like this. And finally, last but not least, I'm going to finish with a tail. And as you probably remember, the tail, I wanted to include a pyramid. So let's get started with the pyramid again. The pyramid is going to start. Let me remind me. How many squares do we have at the bottom here? 2 by 2. Is that so? Very nice. So 2 by 2 needs to be the ground of the pyramid that I need to work with. So that's it, 2 by 2 like this. And now what I only need to do is draw for each and every one of the sides of my square. I need to draw 4 isosceles triangles. And of course I'm going to use the squared paper. In order to do such a thing, I just only have to count the squares properly, as I am doing now, and that's going to be quicker than using the compass. And again, fill it like this. Okay, this one also. Did I forget to add some ribbons? Yes, I did. So I'm going to do it now. So this is the ribbon for this pair. This is the ribbon for this other pair of edges. Another, let me do it well enough. Another, no, not yet. So here we have it. Another pair here, and finally another pair there. Okay. So again, save it. And you probably remember, by the way, here, this one is awfully incorrect. Why is that so? Some of you probably have seen it and have started crying, no, you have it wrong, why have you disappointed me so much? So, the fact is, this edge here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, needs to be exactly the same size as this one here. And I really don't realize why did I do such a big mistake like this. Nevertheless, I'm going to correct it properly, like this. Okay, if I may. Am I going to do such a thing? Okay. Let's do it bigger. So I want to get rid of that line and finally fill it like this. So, okay, that's something else, isn't it? So 5 and 5. This is correct. And now I'm going to add the proper ribbons. A ribbon for every pair of edges. So here we have one. Good. That pair. Here we have another one. This other pair. This one is going to fit with, let me see. Is it something still missing here? Apparently, yes. We need to add the bottom of the leg. So let's do it now. Not everything is lost yet, Fernando. You can do it. So that's going to be the bottom here. That's the bottom. That means it also needs the proper ribbon here. Do I? Since I already have that edge which is going to fit into this one, so I do not need a ribbon there. But I will need a ribbon here. Okay, these both here and also this one. Let me see if I'm able. This one is going to stick to this one. This one is going to stick with that other one. And it turns out I also have forgot this face here. Okay. So this is 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be added here afterwards. Doesn't matter at all as long as I am able to see the mistakes. So this one is going to join with this one over here. So we need another pair of ribbons, such like these, and finally that one is going to stick to that one. So since I am already here, I'm going to add the ribbon there. Okay, So I'm going to save this one properly. Let's get through all the nets that I already have. Is this good enough? I hope so. Oh. There we go. I almost committed a very big mistake, but this is good enough. And let me see this one here. Do I forgot about a face here? This one with that one, that one with that one, that one with that one. This is the top of the head, that's the butt, and that's the back. Good. Now comes the leg. This one with that one. Here we have the top. This one is assigned to this one, that one to that one, and finally these both here. So, okay, everything seems fine to me. That means I just only need to mount this whole thing. Of course, I don't know if I have to say it, I don't know if I have to mention it, but since a dinosaur usually have 2 legs, this one here needs to be repeated again in order to have both legs available, okay? But as you can see, as you probably already know, the only thing you need to do is taking another square paper, place it immediately above it, and you just only have to trace it. Or once you have cut it out, you just only have to take another paper and use it as a template in order to cut out the same shape twice. That would be good enough. So, from this moment on, what I'm going to start doing is I will print it out and I'm going to mount it, and in the edited part and the edited version of this recorded video, I'm going to show you the final result. So, see you in a couple of minutes.